Good vach and welcome back to Just 2 Minutes, Just a Mishnah. This is Mishnah Nishmas, Fredele Basrachan, the Schos of Eliyitzchak ben Gila, and the Froster Basuva, so Masachas Bava basra. Perak Tes, Mishnah Hey and Mishnah Vav, Hashalech Savlan Sabeis Chamiv. So if someone engages a woman, meaning he sends her Kiddushin, which is the first stage, but it hasn't been Nisuin, and then he sends her like sivlinus, which is kind of like presents because he engaged her. So Shal Sham Mea Moneh V'Achal Sham Sudas Chasan Afil Bedinar in a Nigbin. So then if he sends her over a moneh, over 100 zuz worth of presents, and he eats at his in-laws' house, his future in-laws' house. I mean, at that point, really, it's like half in-laws. So then, because this, again, when we say engagement, we don't mean engagement we have today, because engagement today isn't really, they're not married yet, whereas in the engagement here is kiddushin, meaning they're basically half married. So in this stage then, so then once he eats 100, if he sent a gift which was worth at least 100 zuz, and he ate in his in-laws' house, like a proper Suda, so then even if the Suda was only worth a dinar, so then in a nigbin, so then if they get divorced, he can't demand these presents back, because we assume that he gave it to her because he was so happy now that he had all this food there, and like he was very happy. So then we assume that he gave it to her to keep permanently, whether or not the marriage actually goes through. But if he didn't have a meal there, a suda, so then he can take these gifts back if they get divorced. If he said explicitly, he gave her a lot of presents, and basically so that when they get married, it's going to become theirs together. I mean, it's going to come back to him, essentially. So if they get divorced, then he can take these back. But if he gave her small gifts, which are going to be used in her father's house, so then those he can't take back, because those obviously he doesn't care, and he gave those to her whether or not the marriage will go through or not. Mishnah Vav, we have a case where someone who's deathly ill writes off all of his property to other people. So if he left a little piece of land for himself, and then he got better. So as long as he left off a little piece for himself, we say that it was actually a present. He meant to do it even if he got better, so then he can't demand his stuff back. If he didn't leave over a little piece of land for himself, Ein matanasa kayemes, so then the present doesn't stand. Why? Because we say that the whole reason he didn't leave anything over for himself is because he assumed he was going to die. So now that he didn't die, he gets his stuff back. Like hasabash chimera, if they don't know, if he didn't write in the thing that he was deathly ill, and he claims that he was deathly ill, and that's why he wrote over his property to these people. But the people who he wrote it off to says no, he wasn't deathly ill. He just wrote it off to us because he likes us. So then tzarach lavi raya shushchimira. Divrab Meir. So Meir says he has to bring proof that he was ill at that time. The Chacham say that if there's a rule that if you want to take something away from someone, you have to bring proof. Meaning that over here we're talking about a case where the property is still by the man who was supposedly ill, and in the people who he wrote this land off to want to come and take it from him. So in order for them to take it, because they're trying to take something away from him, they have to bring proof that he wasn't ill, and those are today's Mishnayos.